In this video, I wanted to show you a very quick picking hand warm-up idea that you can utilize anytime you need to practice, record, gig, anything at all, but you don't have a heck of a lot of time to get the picking hand warmed up. And you can also use this little routine I'm about to show you and extend it to actually work on your technique. But in this brief little routine, I think you're going to find it to be super effective, so let's check it out. The main idea with this routine is we're going to find all of the elements of what make your picking technique work, and we're going to focus on them one at a time in very short little exercises that require basically no memorization. Here's what I'm talking about. When you're alternate picking, which I have to assume is your default picking style. Now, of course, there's other styles like economy picking and whatnot, but let's just assume that you're an alternate picker. You're actually going to encounter three things as you play, and it almost doesn't matter what it is that you're playing. You're going to encounter single string playing multiple notes on a single string perhaps. You're also going to encounter string crosses, and there's two of them. So let's just say, for example, you're playing a scale, like just let's say a regular A major scale. In doing so, you've actually encountered all three scenarios that we're talking about. As you play the first three notes, you actually are playing single string picking, so we need to be able to do that well. The next thing you're going to encounter is a string cross right there on the fourth note. And that type of string cross is called outside picking because when you played the last note on your 6-string guitar, by the way, I have 7, so ignore the top one. On this string, we're doing down, up, down. So down on the 6th string is the last note I'm going to play there. The next string is going to be an upstroke. So when you play down on a lower pitch string and up on a higher pitch string, technically you're hitting what they call the outer edge of those two strings. And that is a type of string cross that you're going to encounter all the time. We need to get good at it. Okay? Now if we continue our scale, up, down, up, there's some more single string picking, down, right? But our next string cross is going to happen when we play the last note on the 5th string, which will be an upstroke, and the first note on the 4th string, which is a downstroke. They call that inside picking because your pick is really contacting the inner edge of those two strings. And as you continue through the scale, you're going to see those same three elements pop up. Single string, outside picking, single string, inside picking, single string, outside picking again, single string, inside picking, with a brief single string 2-note grouping here. And then some more single string picking, which was preceded by another inside picking string cross. So just in even playing a simple scale, you're going to encounter those three elements. So the idea with this routine is instead of having these long fancy licks, if you really want to just warm up your right hand, why don't you just get to targeting those three elements? So let me show you what I do. And again, what we're doing with the left hand here is really of no real consequence. In fact, I don't want you to focus too much on the left hand at all, because if you focus on this hand at all while you're trying to warm up this hand doesn't get 100% of your focus, your concentration, because you're always kind of monitoring this hand. So here's what I do. They're just some silly things that I do for this kind of thing. I'll take a simple 4-finger in a row thing, and let's say I'll do it on the G string just for fun here. I'm at the 5th fret, and I'm just doing 5, 6, 7, 8. But what I will do to warm up the picking portion of this is I'll pick each note 4 times. And then I may shift a fret, and I'll pick each note 4 times, but I'm going to descend the finger order from pinky to ring to middle to first. Okay, I may do it a few times in a row, and then I'll do 3 times per note. Then 2 times. And I think you can see what we're going to do last. 1 time per note. Now again, this is not really all that exciting. By all means, feel free to just forget the left hand altogether and just get accustomed to picking a single string. And I'm not trying to race the clock or the metronome here. I'm not trying to play as fast as possible. I'm trying to remind my hand of how efficient I want it to be. I want it to remind my hand of how relaxed I want it to be. I'm focusing on a steady rhythm, and I'm focusing on it to, feel good. I don't want to feel like I'm straining, especially when I'm warming up. So that's what I do for single string stuff. Really simple. Again, you can do your own left hand thing or ignore it altogether. Then I'm going to move on to outside picking. Now for this, I want to cover outside picking on every 2 consecutive string grouping that we got. So what I've chosen to do for this, left hand wise, is I'm just playing an interval of a fifth. But when I move it from string to string, I'm changing the root pitch by a fourth every time. We're not going to get into too much theory on this one, but I'll just show you what this might look like. So I've got an interval of a fifth. In this case, I've got 6th string, 5th fret, 5th string, 7th fret, and I'm going to go back and forth between them, down, up, down, up, down, up. 8 times, maybe 16. It depends how I feel that day. Depends how much time I have to spend on this. There's 8 times. Then I just move down a string. It's still a 5th, but it's a 4th interval away from the last one. But again, without delving into theory too much, you'll do 5 and 7, down a string, 5 and 7, down a string, 5 and 7, down a string, but it's going to be 5 and 8 now because the tuning difference between the G and the B strings is such that you're going to need to extend 1 fret and probably use your pinky to get a 5th interval to actually happen. And likewise here, a 4th away for the last set of strings is going to require that we start on the 6th fret, 2nd string, and therefore 8th fret. On the 1st string, I use my middle and pinky, but either way, you're dealing with 5th intervals, a 4th away, basically. So that's what that would entail. Now, when it comes to doing the inside picking, I actually don't change the left hand at all. All I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse the picking. I'm going to start on a downstroke on the 5th string, and then an upstroke on the 6th string. And picking-wise, that's going to result in inside picking. Again, the pick is hitting the inner edge of those 2 strings. So instead of this, we get this. And therefore, it's going to sound like this. So the left hand doesn't have to change, it's just the picking. And like the single string version of this warm-up that we're talking about here, you can feel free to just ignore the left hand altogether, because again, if you are thinking at all about this hand, then you're taking attention away from your picking hand, which is actually what we're really trying to focus on here. So from time to time, I might just do this. And I'm just focusing on efficiency, evenness of rhythm, relaxation, and I'll work on that for a while. I'll remind my picking hand of what I want inside string crosses to be at their most optimal. There's other variations to this that I'll do. I might talk about that in another video, but if you just need something super quick that focuses on your picking hand and all of the possible scenarios that your picking hand is probably going to go through, then this is a really good one for alternate picking. So check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.